Who did the Black Power salute at the 1968 Olympics? If you're curious about one of the most iconic and powerful moments in Olympic history, you're in the right place. Let's talk about the Black Power salute at the 1968 Olympics. On October 16, 1968, during the medal ceremony for the 200-meter race at the Mexico City Summer Olympics, a significant event took place. The athletes involved were Tommie Smith and John Carlos, two American sprinters, and Peter Norman, an Australian athlete. Tommie Smith, who won the gold medal with a world record time of 19.83 seconds, and John Carlos, who took the bronze with a time of 20.110 seconds, stood on the podium as the U.S. national anthem played. Instead of the usual respectful stance, they raised their black-gloved fists in a gesture of defiance and solidarity. But they weren't alone. Peter Norman, the Australian silver medalist who finished with a time of 20.06 seconds, an Oceania record, stood beside them. Norman wore a badge of the Olympic Project for Human Rights on his jacket, showing his support for Smith and Carlos's protest. The protest was about more than just a gesture. It was a statement against racial inequality and poverty. Smith and Carlos wore black socks and no shoes to symbolize African American poverty, and Smith wore a black scarf to represent black pride. Carlos's unzipped tracksuit top was a show of solidarity with blue-collar workers, and the beads he wore were a tribute to those who had been lynched or mistreated. The idea for the protest came from the Olympic Project for Human Rights, founded by sociologist Harry Edwards. Edwards had urged black athletes to boycott the Games, but instead, Smith and Carlos decided to participate and make a powerful statement. When Carlos forgot his black glove, it was Peter Norman who suggested they share Smith's gloves. This is why Carlos raised his left hand instead of his right. The solidarity shown by Norman was significant, especially given his background as a devout Christian from the Salvation Army. The reaction to their protest was immediate and severe. Smith and Carlos were expelled from the Olympic Games, and they faced intense criticism and even death threats back home. Norman, too, faced backlash in Australia and was not selected for the 1972 Olympics. Despite the initial backlash, their actions have become a symbol of courage and a stand for equality. Today, they are remembered as heroes of the civil rights movement, and their gesture continues to inspire athletes and activists around the world. In 2006, when Peter Norman passed away, Tommie Smith and John Carlos flew to Melbourne to give eulogies and serve as pallbearers at his funeral, a testament to the enduring bond and respect they shared. The Black Power salute at the 1968 Olympics was a moment of profound significance, and it was made possible by the courage and solidarity of Tommie Smith, John Carlos, and Peter Norman.